Welcome to The House Always Wins, a comparison of Fallout New Vegas and a little-known show called HBO's The Wire. But first, let's lay out some learning objectives because that's what everyone loves. Yeah, I gotta set this curriculum right. If you haven't watched The Wire, now you will. Do you guess what's coming next? Oh, okay, good point. There will be spoilers. Good point. I'm sorry, there will be spoilers. It would be almost impossible to discuss any of this without them. Yes, important spoilers. I'm sorry. But even if I spoil these things for you, still go experience them. And, of course, if you haven't played Fallout New Vegas, now you will. And if you've done neither, who the hell dragged you here? Someone dragged you here. It's like, no, these are great. Yeah, this guy was like, no, look, it's really glitchy, but you gotta play it. It's great. The Wire. Oh no, it really, after the first 10 episodes, it really pops off. Talking about like it's an anime, like, bro, after the first 3 seasons, really pops off. Lesser objective, be able to identify the ways our world is crumbling, and the list goes on. And we're gonna have some chuckles over some crossover memes. Don't spoil the real world. Oh. So first, of course, we have The Wire. We'll see if you're good. So, ran from 2002 to 2008, created by David Simon. He's a Baltimore reporter. Also co-creator was Ed Burns. He was a Baltimore cop and also Baltimore City teacher. Boo, education. So, 5 seasons exploring different aspects of Baltimore. We had the drug trade, shipping docks, city politics, education, boo, and journalism, respectively. And it explored institutions' effects on individuals. Also crumbling American cities. Also, another disclaimer, there will be some expletives because this is an M-rated game and a mature-rated show. There we go. CPAC was a few years ago, sir. This is, let's say it together, this is a show not about a person, but about people. The Sopranos is a show about a person. The Wire is a show about people. A show my mom once praised as, I couldn't really get through the first episode. Like I said, this is like the anime everyone, oh no dude, after 2 seasons, it really gets good. You just gotta, it's just 60 episodes in, it really pops off. So, I mean, in conclusion, The Wire can be summed up thusly. So next off, what's everyone's favorite Fallout game? He raised his hand in the white shirt. 3, 2, New Vegas. Okay, he gets a sticker for raising his hand. Because he was one of the only, we're all shouting out, law and order, okay? So, but no, let's get real. You can't really rank them. You know, I mean, they're all good in their own way. Each is special. 3 isn't as good as New Vegas, but I think Bethesda brought a lot to the table. They made it popular again. It was it's a broken engine now, but for the time it was pretty good. But then, it's Fallout New Vegas, baby! So, Fallout New Vegas. What most of you are here for, and then a few like nerds are like, oh, I want to get to the Wire again. I want to talk about governance. Released 2010, developed by Obsidian. Now that we're into New Vegas, again, if you have something cool or interesting to add, and you maybe want a sticker, raise your hand and add it. Because I know this was a troubled and storied development history, so you raised your hand first, sir. That's like a snake eating its tail. He gets a sticker, but I don't want no more peanut gallery. Yes. So, person up front, could you give a sticker to him? He just said, Fallout New Vegas' story is a lot more interesting because it is not just the story of good versus evil. It is a morally nuanced story. Or in 3, it's Brotherhood of Steel is good. And then at the end, randomly, it's like, if you want to be evil, I guess, just go ahead. So, 3D post-apocalyptic RPG. Discover a new political ideology with every playthrough. So, as my person up front said, players are presented, cross that out, not with good or evil choices, but an endless string of ambiguous decisions. I'm sure on every playthrough, everyone here was like, I don't know, looking up online, like, but what's the good decision? It's like, it's real life, dude, I don't know. Oh, yes? All the decisions I made were as a cannibalistic chainsaw wielding man. I like that. He should get a sticker. Because, hey man, you have weird beliefs, but you stick to them. Also, I can't hear about everyone's like RP character in here. Half of you do the 1-inch roleplay. So, a big thing of this game is there's various groups making up a developing New Vegas. New Vegas is on the rise, it's back. And now everyone wants a piece of the pie. And a lot of the story and game is like, well, how do we divide up and use finite resources? So, again, Fallout 3 from Bethesda was more a game about, like, this is a survival game. This is more of a post-apocalyptic game. New Vegas is a post-apocalyptic game. This is a game where, like, civilization is a thing, and it's not quite about survival. It's about how are we divvying up and working with each other and, moving into this new developing world. Shit. Piece of shit. Can someone go backstage and turn it off and on? You may now be asking yourself, what in the tarnation do these two things have to do with each other? They're just characters look alike, that's about it. I mean, for real, dude, come on. You didn't see the title of this panel, that wasn't your first thought? Omar and the Mysterious Stranger? Also, just some of the quotes work on top of each other. I'm a genius. Oh no. And then, of course, if these two media don't go with each other, why does this slap so hard? Why does this work so well? I didn't trim this short enough. Wait for it. There's your theme. Okay, there's your wire song. It goes hard. Come on, together, let's go. Hole, down in the hole, keep 'em in the hole, down in the hole, keep 'em in the hole, down in the hole. Why does it slap so hard? Is it slap or clap? I can never remember what the kids are saying. It's slap, I had it right. Why does that work so well? But then, there's a bunch of boring reasons that I guess we can cover that why these games are the same. It's the same show and movie. It's because it's government corruption. Yeah, this is just boring stuff. We don't need to talk about any of this. Yeah, no, we just need to go over the aesthetic reasons. Just like all content has become, you're just in an aesthetic realm, dude. But for real, I guess. So in both of these properties, government corruption is flowing. There's a lack of social services. So we have different groups that share a lot of different qualities. In The Wire, in the first season, we have the police and we have a drug gang. And there's a lot of similarities with the hierarchy and how rules are set and how norms are or aren't broken. And we have New Vegas and Baltimore, where there's diverse groups and beliefs and policies and goals, and it's an exploration of how these things collide. Also, it's really fun bureaucratic roadblocks and institutional momentum stopping change. Oh boy. Oh no, sparse economic opportunities. New Vegas, just like nothing out there. Now it's a developing city, but in Baltimore we can see like a post-industrial city. And you could almost say that, like, you know, one's on the up down flow, one's on the upflow, and they're kind of meeting. And we have unchecked crime, but it's not just crime that just exists. I think in both of these things, New Vegas and The Wire, it's a big exploration of how crime and the lack of safety and security affect people, like in terms of like, you can't get a job, you can't stay employed, you can't get to work, your home, your like physical safety is in danger. These are things that affect people materially. Yes? Yes! Get your sticker! So, now we get to the meat and potatoes of this. Groups and people. The Brotherhood guy? Okay. Are you going to be up for church on Sunday? So, first, some minor ones. We have the co-op from The Wire. The co-op on The Wire is a group of different gangs and drug trades that have met up for a mutual benefit. Now, does anyone want to try and guess what the parallel in Fallout New Vegas would be to The Wire's co-op? The cons? Can we get a sticker for... Yeah. Sorry, you had one over there? Do not even close. No, or I like though. No, I'm not saying no. You know, don't be afraid though to shout your voice. Don't worry. All right. Yes. Woo! Okay. Yes. Long sleeve shirt, and then if you have time, if the person with the yellow sleeves, because I kind of yelled at him and now I feel bad. So yes, the parallel to the co-op from The Wire would be the three families. Sir, would you like to extrapolate on why? Exactly. So, these are loose affiliations of separate groups that have come together for their mutual benefit, both well-being and in terms of economics and material gain. Now there's a relaxed structure, it's not too stringent of a hierarchy. And compared to other groups in both of these properties, it's rather fragile. You can, again, I said there's gonna be spoilers. In New Vegas, you can wipe out the families, and in The Wire, we see that like co-op is pretty meaningless after Marlo comes around. Yeah. So here's some crossover memes, just to keep you from leaving. So, does anyone know what that symbol is? Enclave, very good. Now, by raising your hand, who would be a parallel group on The Wire? No, we'll get there, but if we could get them a sticker for guessing, a good try. Anyone else? All right. We'll get there. The Greeks. Yeah, it makes sense. Don't ask about the past, don't worry about it. Where were you a few years ago? No, don't worry about it. They're out hiding somewhere quiet, and they're constantly on the lookout for the feds. They're getting hunted down by the NCR. They're getting hunted down by the FBI. Yeah, this was a minor one, but once I saw the similarities, I'm like, I gotta add this. So, now we're getting into some of the big boys. Don't clap for these guys. Don't clap for the Brotherhood of Steel. Church every Sunday. Okay, yeah. So, Who would be the parallel of the Brotherhood of Steel on the wire? All the way in the back. No, so, not yet. We'll get there. We'll get there. Can you get one? Like all the way in the back with the orange. Yeah, center aisle. Anyone else? All right, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. Now, this one is a little nitpicky because I did make it the police, but I made it like the higher ups at the police. So like the administrative aspect of the police. The person with, yes, good one. Can you elaborate on that? All right. Close the panel, that's good enough. So, both the Brotherhood of Steel and the administrative, the higher ups at the police, are insulated from the realities on the ground level. So, if anyone's watched The Wire, a lot of these meetings, it's like meetings with the higher ups, it's called ComStat. Now, just like the Brotherhood of Steel, who's obsessed with technology, ComStat, in real life it's called CompStat with like a P. It's short for computer statistics. Now, this is a really fun thing where you use statistics and like applications and computer programs to rationalize really shitty police policies. Because like if you make the data show like, no, it's working, like, oh yeah, well numbers can't lie. Numbers can lie. There's statistics, damn statistics. Oh, I messed it up completely. There we go. Lies, damn lies, and statistics. There's a great book called The Weapons of Math Destruction. And this author goes into great detail about how statistics and algorithms and different things like that can be used to really skew data and don't show the whole story. Because remember, humans write these things, and humans are flawed. And don't come back to me with AI, because a human wrote the AI on some level too. So, that parallels the Brotherhood of Steel because they're obsessed with technology and kind of almost deify technology in the same way that the higher ups are going to ComStat and they're just looking at statistics and like, well, you know, if the number's good, then that means people are safer, right? Wrong. So, they have little or no connection to the local populace. You can see this in a lot of different Fallout games. In New Vegas, they're pretty disconnected from the world. Now, a thing I do like in Fallout 3 is that the Eastern Brotherhood, when they go over there, I think if I remember correctly, they're like, yo, we should help this population. And like the main Brotherhood's like, no, if you're not doing anything besides gathering technology, we are disowning you. Don't give out water or nothing like that. What are you, out of your mind? Yes.
Okay, so the Eastern Brotherhood was formed by exiles from the Western Brotherhood who wanted to promote more liberal policies.
That's what I said. Don't mansplain me. Jeez. Also, any remotely novel idea will get you fired. Yeah, so now we have some clips just to lay out what a great description of the Brotherhood
The
of
worst
Steel.
impulses of mankind concentrated in one insane backward tribe. The Brotherhood seems to have formed not long after the Great Atomic War. It's hard to know. They care little for history. Some of the Brotherhood scribes we captured further east didn't even know the name of their founder, Roger Maxson. They like to pretty up their mission with trappings of chivalry. But the truth is they're hoarders. They hoard technology. It's been 200 years, and they still have the mentality of scavengers. They say they're preserving these technologies, but for what? They have no vision. They offer no future. They're a dead end.
Yeah, Brotherhood sucks. So, to parallel that, on The Wire, for an example of how against change, new ideas, or progress the upper echelons at the police are, I love this clip.
I don't know quite how to put this, but I began by identifying those areas of my district where drug trafficking was least harmful and proceeded to push all street-level dealing towards those areas. Now, at first, dealing with the juveniles on them corners, I had a little success. But ultimately, by rounding up all the mid-level dealers in my district and making them offer they couldn't refuse, I was able to...
You made them an offer?
Yes, sir. Either they move their people to one of 3 designated areas where drug enforcement was not a district priority, or they face the wrath of every able-bodied soul in my district.
Major, I don't understand. The only time we can hold a drug corner is when we assign officers to stand there. Your slides don't suggest any concerted deployment on any corners. How were you able to
Jesus
effectively...
Christ, you Nick, don't you see what he's done? He's legalized drugs.
Hell yeah!
Actually, I elected to ignore them.
You lost your fucking mind. He's lost his fucking mind.
You, in my office. Now.
Okay. That's it, gentlemen.
So, some context for The Wire is that this was a highly effective program. As you can see, I don't know if you can pull out infer from that clip, but like, violent crimes were down in his district. Like, he wasn't juking the stats. Like, they were. There was less like murders and crime and violent crime because, you know, that policy would work. But yeah, like, to exemplify how these two groups are so much against change, even when it's effective. Yes. Exactly, yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, exactly. They're careerists at the end of the day. Exactly, and then for that too, you can infer a lot of like things from like, oh well, like, you know, you get up higher enough in politics and just in different institutions, like you just go through the motions, and it's like, have we forgotten the actual like goals, the ostensible goals of this organization? You know, we can see things like work, and they don't do them. I apologize, but we do have to keep up. I can't take every question because we do have to keep going. So, what is this group? Yeah, the only okay-ish group in New Vegas. So, who would be the parallel to the followers of the apocalypse? By show of hands. Yes. No, sorry, but good try. Yes. Sorry? No. Yes. Yes. Boo education. Boo. You get a sticker, but boo education. Trying to teach me, I'll learn you good. Yeah, there we go. America's best applied classroom. So, the followers of the apocalypse. Parallel would be the teachers on The Wire. So, because provide education, food, social services, different things that, you know, keep you alive in these areas where these things often don't exist. Like I said, like in real life, unfortunately, you know, hey man, school lunch is kind of important for a lot of families. That might be one of the only meals a kid gets in a day. In New Vegas, you know, out in the wasteland, the followers of the apocalypse. For anyone who doesn't know, to lay it out, the followers of the apocalypse are a group in New Vegas that you could best be thought of as a nonprofit. They provide medical aid, education, food, and shelter to like the disenfranchised. Well, everyone's disenfranchised in Fallout, but whoever they can. Oh, let's take that out. So often, the followers of the apocalypse, unlike our well-funded education system, are broken, tore up, and using dilapidated supplies and equipment. If you remember in the game, basically most of the quests for the followers of the apocalypse are like, can you just donate stuff, please? We're the only people like keeping addicts alive and like educating people. The Great Khans, one of the main tribes in Fallout New Vegas, like learn to read and write from these people. And they help almost everyone too. Like I forget it, Brotherhood of Steel. They've kind of exiled some people to the Enclave, but I think Brotherhood of Steel, NCR, maybe not Caesar's Legion. I can't keep track. There's too many groups. There's a lot of groups in this game. Yeah, okay, all right. Get this conspiracy theorist out of here. So, a big thing that both these groups are doing is trying to stem the negative externalities of the worlds in which they live. The externalities coming from crime, poverty, disenfranchisement, socioeconomic effects. Unfortunately, you're against the tidal wave. So,
What do you want to talk about?
this is Followers of the Apocalypse in New Vegas.
More than rough. It's a damn mess. Freeside townies are constantly picking fights with NCR civilians. Thugs and thieves are always looking for a victim, and the local families are just sitting back making caps on the mess. Freeside is in dire need, but no one has been man enough to step up. The followers can only do so much to stem the tide. There is always something needing done. A few souls here in Freeside could be great assets to the community if they'd kick their addictions. We need a regular supply of medicine organized, but the Crimson Caravan wants too many caps for what we need. Lastly, tensions between the townies and NCR tourists have been going downhill fast lately. A lot of innocent people will get hurt if things blow up.
So, on the wire. They're not commies, they're trying to help people.
Mr. Press, can you come with me, please? What'd I do?
Get here early. I'll let you in and you can shower.
My dirty clothes.
Put them in this bag. Leave it in the locker. I'll bring them home and wash them.
Teacher spending their own money, time, and supplies
Go
to
ahead
help
and get cleaned
students.
up. We're late for
When would
class.
that ever happen? So, as you can see, I don't know.
He was saying it as a joke, but he was like, this is some fiction. So I'm a middle school special education teacher. And, woo! And the one thing that I say all the time is that season 4 of The Wire is probably the only piece of media I have seen accurately depict public education. So like when you watch it, it probably seems like it's an exaggeration. It's not. This is exactly what public education is like right now. So, yeah.
She was scared to talk up front, so that means a lot, the fact that she got up here, just to let you know. Did, Purple, did you have something to say? You're drinking heavily too, huh? So, you could see in that show, I don't know if you could infer, but earlier that character Juki, the child, the teacher there had recognized that he's coming to coming to school in unwashed clothes, without food, not having breakfast. So, and a lot of time, schools are often a place where a lot of disenfranchised and lower socioeconomic people can get, basic things like breakfast, basic medical care, obviously education, but because of the failings in other areas of society, often the schools kind of have to cover down and catch up on these things, just like in Fallout New Vegas, Followers of the Apocalypse, because, hey man, when there's no central government, you're on your own. So, now this isn't the police, just the city of Baltimore, the political office, like the mayor's office, what have you. Who would be the parallel on New Vegas? Caesar's Legion, no. Yes? No, not Mr. House. Checkered? Yes, there we go. Right on the money. Oh, you already got it. You can add another one if you want. Right on the money. So, these two groups, expansive influence and power. However, there is a failure to maintain safety and prosperity for their respective populations. The NCR, trying to explain both of these things, well, I guess you know what the city of Baltimore is, but the NCR, for anyone who hasn't played the game, all two of you, is in this post-apocalyptic world, the closest thing we have to a government, kind of, sort of. They are, by the standards of the post-apocalyptic world, a huge and influential and expanding government. With that comes some problems. They wage taxes on people. Now, taxes are the price we pay to live in a society, I would say. But a lot of people don't like that, especially in a post-apocalyptic world. It's a hard thing to sell. Now, also with that, there's large coalitions of varying objectives and ideologies within this. You get to a certain size with groups and institutions, different people want different things within those. When you're like a small tribe of raiders in like the Fallout world, hey man, you all just want like caps and to eat and guns and bullets. Cool. When you're a big thing as such as the NCR of, I don't know if it's millions of people in the game, but like basically the closest thing we have to a government, you get a lot of different wants and goals, and that can cause conflict and that can cause ineffective government, just like the city of Baltimore or a lot of different political offices. So also due to these two things, sizes, they're slow to change and slow to act because of bureaucracy and their size. And also their size allows for lots of corruption. In both of these worlds, in Fallout New Vegas, a lot of people in the wasteland, Mojave wasteland, despite the NCR being a large and influential group, have little faith in their ability to protect them and ensure their socioeconomic like prosperity. They are a huge group, they're a government, and they have an army, but a lot of people don't have faith that they can actually protect them from raiders and bandits, and you can see from the Falls of the Apocalypse, like they don't exactly provide medical care or anything like that, or education. So a lot of people don't have faith in spite of their size and power and influence. Same thing in the real world, you know, our respective city governments, there's a waning belief that, you know, COVID-19, things like that, you know, a lack of faith that, you know, they're there to help. I know we're getting a little sad here. We'll watch some fun clips, don't worry. Get it back, we're coming back.
I am. If NCR took the same stand and committed patrols to the roads, then I'd think that'd solve a lot of their problems right there. But they don't. Caravans get butchered in the Mojave all the time, like mine. And so fucking close to Vegas, you could see it from the wall. NCR tries. It's just that trying doesn't mean a whole lot when you're paying your respects to the dead. And Legion, from what I've heard, they don't do the stop tolls on the roads or in the outposts like some NCR quartermasters do. You're lucky if you turn a profit sometimes if some new officer gets assigned a route, the fees just get worse. Much as I hate the Legion, caravan life would be a hell of a lot easier if they ran the roads. Well, as long as those companies were run by men, and that's the biggest issue I see. And it's a shame. But I think there's people on the NCR side who feel more strongly than I do. Some caravans deal with the Legion now because the security. If towns could get the same protection, a lot more tempting than you'd think. A bunch of people would be willing to side with the Legion to not have to worry about fiends and boomers and powder ganger attacks.
So unfortunately, we got to truncate some of these clips for time. Yeah. But you can see there from that clip from the game that, again, why Fallout New Vegas is so interesting is that you would think ostensibly, maybe if you're not familiar with the game, that like, oh, the NCR, like, they're the good guys. They're like a liberal democracy government, good guys, right? And you can see that a lot of people would make that argument, but they have a lot of problems and issues, and a lot of citizens of this world have legitimate complaints with them. And more crossover memes. Taxes. So, parallel to that, in The Wire, we can see this. A big thing is just people at the end of the day want to be safe, they want to be able to get a job and money and ensure their prosperity.
In our efforts to fight this war against drugs and take back your streets. But we can't do it alone. So when you see illegal activity, we need you to pick up the phone and call it in so that we can
bullshit.
Please hold all your questions.
I never wore out my phone dialing 685 drugs. And for what? Those boys are back on the corner the next damn day.
The fact remains The police department can't do it alone. We need your cooperation.
My cousin Willie Gantt cooperated. He went downtown and testified. He deader than Tupac today.
Tupac's not dead.
I know the problem seems insurmountable, but we are making progress. Take a look at this chart. This line here represents I have the microphone, ma'am.
Let the woman speak.
I have the microphone.
My kids, they can't play outside no more. Some nights when we hear these plops, we got to sleep under our beds. I come home from work. I can't even get up my front steps because they occupied by the drug dealers.
That's right, you tell them.
Is that in that picture you got up there?
So I think these two clips, probably the closest of the two comparisons I have, that you can see, hey, people at the end of the day just, safety is, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So, top. People just want to be safe. They want their physical safety met. And when you fail to do that, the authority and ability to do things of your institutions come into question. So, Barksdale Criminal Organization, the drug gang. Thank you. I understand there's other things going on. So, who would be the peril of the Barksdale Criminal Organization? Yes. Cons? Close. You should get a sticker. Anyone else? Yes. Sorry? Fiends? No, but you should also get a sticker. Everyone should get a sticker. No. I posit that the parallel is Mr. House. Now hear me out. They have a belief in an economic meritocracy. I mean, assuming they have, assuming they're at the top, that they believe in these things. These two organizations. So, we have Mr. House, which is an old man kept in a vat who runs an army of robots in the Mojave wasteland. And then we have the Barksdale Criminal Organization. I'm going on the wrong side here. Barksdale Criminal Organization, it's a drug gang. But you can see in the show that they like to push this idea that it's like, oh, you can work your way up. You start as like a low-level dealer, hey, this is a great way to make money, and these two things are rejections of social welfare or safety net. Mr. House in New Vegas is a belief in the idea that it's like, hey man, it's every man for himself. The NCR is not coming to save you. It's a dangerous world out there, so you got to strap up, you got to get tough, and you got to make money. Same thing with the Barksdale Criminal Organization. Government's not helping you, city's not helping you, police aren't helping you. So strap up and make money. So also, both of these things are a rejection of one's socioeconomic starting place. Mr. House, I'm sure, would very much believe, hey, you're born to a poor area in the wasteland or something. Yeah, you can make it. I made it, even though I'm sure he started from somewhere, some privilege. So, people should be able to trade bitcoins for heroin. If they had Bitcoin in New Vegas, I'm sure he'd be a proponent. And while these two organizations don't necessarily have violence as a core tenet, they definitely are willing to use these things to achieve their goals. Oh, yes?
Both groups also are leveraging their wealth to stay protected to use against their potential political rivals.
Yeah, that's another thing you could say, is that they use their wealth and material items to stay on top. Which, if you can't tell from the slide, there's some irony in all this. That Mr. House and the Barksdale group, they're like, oh yeah, you can work your way up, but hey man, the king stay the king. Mr. House has an army of robots. You're not dethroning him. I mean, you might in the game, but that's only if you really min-max. Not really, but you get the idea.
What is the NCR? A society of people desperate to experience comfort, ease, luxury. A society of customers. With all that money pouring in, give me 20 years and I'll reignite the high technology development sectors. 50 years and I'll have people in orbit. 100 years and my colony ships will be heading
Calm down, Elon.
to search for planets unpolluted by the wrath and folly of a bygone generation. I prefer the term autocrat. I would rule as the chief executive.
Fascism, same
I would
thing.
not answer to a board of directors or any other entity. Nothing to impede progress. If you want to see the fate of democracies, look out the windows.
Yes.
My judgment. I have no interest in abusing others, just as I have no interest in legislating or otherwise dictating what people do in their private time. Nor have I any interest in being worshipped as some kind of machine god messiah. I am impervious to such corrupting ambitions.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But autocracy? Firm control in the hands of a technological and economic visionary? Yes, that Vegas shall have.
Yeah, we should consolidate power and influence, as long as I'm the one, at the consolidation point. He was around during the Great War, so he did let it happen.
Alright, what about them little bald-headed bitches right
Now
here?
watching this, we'll take something
these
called
right here?
reading subtext.
These are the pawns. They like the soldiers. They move like this, one space forward only, except when they fight. And it's like this. And they like the front lines. They be out in the field.
So how do you get to be the king?
It ain't like that. See, the king, stay the king, all right? Everything stay who he is, except for the pawns. And if a pawn made it all the way down to the other dude's side, you get to be queen. And like I said, the queen ain't no bitch. She got all the moves.
Alright, so if I make it to the other end, I win.
If you catch the other dude's king and trap it, then you win.
Alright, but if I make it to the end, I'm top dog.
Nah, yo, it ain't like that. Look, the pawns, man, in the game, they get capped quick. They be out the game early.
Unless they some smart-ass pawns.
So, a lot of overlap there. A lot of, can't infer from that too, that the idea of yes, they say, oh, there's this you can move up, but from the way he describes the chess game, it's nah, yeah, but not really. You're a pawn, unless you're slick. So, someone mentioned the Great Khans earlier. We're finally there. Does anyone want to take a guess at who the parallel for the Great Khans would be? No, not that. Sorry? No, but I think that's actually a good guess. So, that's a good guess. Anyone else? Dude, it's dock workers. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Hey, yo, I'm docking here. Yo, okay, so check it out. Once powerful, now greatly diminished numbers and influences. So organized labor, unfortunately. Yeah, solidarity forever. So both of these groups, their economic means are both consolidated in primarily one thing. Now the Khans, for anyone who doesn't know, within the game, make most of their money through drug dealing. Different groups are kind of opposed to this, different groups look the other way, so it's kind of sort of criminal activity, but they basically have one market that they live by, and that's it. The stevedores are dock workers in the wire. Because America has deindustrialized, we don't ship as much, kind of, sort of, and also containerization has reduced how many dock workers we need. So the industry they have based their claim on has also dwindled. Both of these groups are at odds with basically the trends of the overall world. For better or worse, organized labor is on the fall. And then in New Vegas, this kind of tribes, elder and tribes organizations are going the way of the dodo bird. We have the NCR, we have the Legion, and we have Mr. House, these other big groups with strong hierarchies and lots of organization coming in and, I don't want to say corporatizing things, but putting a lot more rigid structure on things. Tribes are going away. So in both of these worlds, these groups are becoming obsolete. If anyone doesn't know, Bitter Springs, dude, always remember, the NCR had this massacre of the Great Khans and are obsessed with killing them. So as you can see, organized labor ain't doing too well.
Frank?
Hey, Rain, how's it hanging?
Oh, not so good. Not right now.
Yeah?
I'm late on my dues, you know that, right?
You're late, yeah.
And I'm parking that piece of shit Buick 2 blocks from the house, hoping for a lazy repo man.
That bad? I know you ain't been getting hours. It's been slow.
5 days last month. That's all.
Is that all?
Okay. I got a shit to get off the pot here. I'm gonna go with 47.
Yes. So finally, Baltimore Police Department. Who would be their parallel? By a show of hands. Yes. Yes. It's for any law enforcement in the room. Please don't arrest me. Hey man, someone's got to be Caesar's Legion, man. Back to blue. So, but for real, I did this for a reason. You can see there's strong hierarchical structures, whereas like we have the co-op in The Wire or the Strip 3 families in New Vegas who, they have a very flat structure. There's kind of a pure relationship between the bosses, whatever you want to call them, whereas with the police, it's very much a pyramid. Someone's in charge of you, and there's someone in charge of that, and there's a leader to the top of everything. They tell their subordinates how high to jump. Excuse me, they tell their subordinates jump, and then the subordinate says how high. There's also a strong use of force to ensure the safety and prosperity of citizens. You can see from the Legion in the game, use of force and violence is used to ensure prosperity and safety. That's why a lot of people break off from the NCR, because it's like, well, what good is democracy if my house is burned down? I would rather have like legionnaires come through and like murder and crucify raiders as long as my house isn't burnt down. And while it might not be correct, a lot of people, don't want crime. At the end of the day, no one wants crime in the area, and you see uses of force against criminals, as vague a term that may be, and to a lot of people that's appealing. Simultaneously though, a lot of people in their respective worlds don't really want to deal with them, and yet others still find security in their strength. There's also an emphasis on displays of power. They want to be viewed as strong and forceful organizations that can enact their will on their populations. So. FBI, open up! Just to lighten the mood a little bit. Did anyone actually do first play Legion siding? I'm glad. No, shut up. I'm calling the cops.
In Rome, I found a template for a society equal to the challenges of the post-apocalyptic world. A society that could and would survive. A society that could prevent mankind from fracturing and destroying itself in this new world by establishing a new Pax Romana. It means a nationalist, imperialist, totalitarian, homogenous culture that obliterates the identity of every group it conquers. Long-term stability at all costs. The individual has no value beyond his utility to the state, whether as an instrument of war or production. No, I'll destroy it because it's inevitable that it be destroyed. It's Hegelian dialectics, not personal animosity.
Now, there's a small Easter egg in this PowerPoint, and yes, all the way in the back. I was just about to say that was the Easter egg. Yes, yes, thank you. But yes, so for anyone who doesn't know, John Dolan, right, is the voice actor for Season. Simultaneously, he is Rawls on The Wire. That guy.
Unit 2 to Sector 3. Move on to Winchester Homes.
Same guy. Yep.
Unit 2 to Sector 2. Move on the coppers plan. Over the top, gentlemen.
About fucking time. Yo, man, we gonna run out if we don't got no re-up. Where Tucky at? I don't know. Well, where Tucky at, man? We rolled out. Huh? You said the police coming.
So displays of force and power. So, to give context to this clip, they are shutting down the drug-free zone that existed in Baltimore because rather than have a prosperous citizenship, we'd rather just, beat them around. Finally, so we're getting to a few final characters rather than groups. We have Bubbles on the Wire. Does anyone know who would be the parallel to Bubbles on the Wire as a character in New Vegas? Wild guesses? No. All right. It's kind of a cop-out, but it's a mirror. It's a lot smaller than I thought it would be. It's the courier, it's the player. Because you are cast into a world with no support. You start out, at least starting out, you have no strong affiliations, influence, power, nothing. You are at the whims of the world, and what the world may do with you, you have no agency in it. And also, like Bubbles on the Wire, you experience all these different groups. You experience this cross-section of the world. You go through, you talk to all these different groups and characters. You are at the end of their actions, their influence, what they do. Now, Bubbles on the Wire is, for anyone who doesn't know, a houseless person who eventually does overcome drug addiction, but is kind of at the ass end for a lot of these different institutions that we've explored in the show. He gets beat on by cops, he gets abused and exploited by drug gangs. At one point, even the journalist kind of exploits him to some extent for a story. Yep. Now, finally, last one. Who is one of the bigger characters on The Wire? No, dude. It's the city of Baltimore. The city of Baltimore's a character on The Wire. Come on. That was a good guess, though. So, city of character. A lot of people will say city character, most people will say, is a character on the show. And I posit New Vegas is also a character in New Vegas. They are both home to diverse groups of people, different ideas, all vying for different things, trying to live together. And despite their dire economic straits and conflicts and violence, they have lots of potential. They're centers of commerce where people can, given the right circumstances, improve their lives. And you can see, as in New Vegas, as how we have schools in Baltimore or other cities, we have access to social services, safety nets, things of that manner, and these are places of culture. So, finally, to talk about cities and how we all come together and have to live in these things, we have the GOAT, Jane Jacobs.
What do these places have in common? They're hubs. Things started there. Cities are places where most innovations start, most new ways of doing things that can range from services to objects, to styles, everything, cultural things, and so on. Problems show up first in big cities, every kind of problem, and always have. That stimulates people to think of how to deal with these. with respect to innovations, cities are the engines. If there's one word that describes what a creative city is and an uncreative city or other settlement is not, that word is diversity, cultural diversity. It includes ethnic diversity. It includes diversity of incomes and skills, every kind of diversity you can think of.
Boom, and there we have it. She's describing The Wire, she's describing New Vegas. Perfect, sums it all up. And that about wraps it up. Thank you for sitting through my ranting. I'm Brofessor Nick. Y'all enjoy MAGFest.